Hi guys, welcome to another Elementor video. This is Jamie with System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, today we're going to be looking at the little button widget. And you can get really creative with your button. I've got one here. It's got a little pulse effect and color change when we hover over it. Of course, when you click on it, it'll take people to wherever your link takes them. Really easy to do, no coding involved in this today, and you can get really creative with your buttons. This is another video in our Elementor for Beginners series. You can find a link to that playlist down below this video. I've got this page open with Elementor. If you don't, hit your Edit with Elementor button up here. And let's go to our little matrix up here. And if we look down, here's our little button widget right here. I'm going to left click on it. Going to pull it over to where I want it. I've got a row with 2 columns. I'm going to release it and drop it in there. By default, it makes it green. Type whatever you want your button to say in here. Put the link, obviously, for where you want to take people with your button right here. If you're linking to your own site, you want to keep it in the same window. If you're linking off-site to somebody else's site, click on the little cog here. You can choose to open it in a new window. That way your site's going to stay open. Alignment-wise, obviously left, middle, right, or if you justify, it'll make it full width for you. I'm going to leave mine in the middle. Size-wise, you can choose extra small, all the way up to extra large. Let's maybe make ours large perhaps. Now by default, it's not going to show an icon here. If you want to have an icon, you can either upload your own icon with the SGV format, or you can go to the icon library, choose whatever icon you want. Perhaps have an arrow. There's plenty to choose from here. That'll work for me. Insert it. As you can see, it's popped it in on the left-hand side there. Now, if you choose, you can put it after the text. I think I like that bit better. And icon spacing, you can choose the distance between the text and the icon by sliding this up and down. As you can see, it's getting further away, closer. I'm fairly happy with that. Don't need a button ID. If you're going to use your button for custom functions and things like that with JavaScript, you want to give it an ID. But we're not doing that today. And of course, over in the style, you can really go to town with your button. In typography, you just click on the little pencil. You can choose whatever font family you want to use. I'm happy for it to be on the default there. Choose the size of your font, and you can either type in a value or slide the slider up and down. If you don't like what you've done, select it, delete it. It'll go back to the default for you. Font weight is obviously how skinny or fat your font is. For instance, if I make it 100, it's really skinny. If I make it 900, it's going to be crazy. Let's put it back to the default. Normal 400. Great. If you want to, you can transform it uppercase, lowercase, capitalize. Uppercase, obviously, it's going to be all capitals. The lowercase is going to be all lowercase, obviously. Capitalize, it's going to capitalize the first letter on each one. I'm going to have mine uppercase, I believe. If you want to decorate it, you can put an underline, an overline, or a line through it. I really don't want any decoration on mine today. Line height's the space between the next line of text. So if you pull that up, it's going to give it more space down below, and you'll see the button getting bigger like that. And again, if you don't like what you've done, just delete it. It'll go back to the default for you. Letter spacing, obviously the space between the letters, and word spacing, obviously space between the words. I'm going to leave all of that just like it is. If you want to add a text shadow, you can do so down below. And that's quite often a good thing with buttons, because it just does give the writing a little more definition. For instance, if I drop the vertical down just a little bit, you can see it's underneath it there. If I take that color down in darkness by bringing the opacity slider, this bottom slider up, you'll see it getting darker as I bring it up. And that defines that text and icon a little bit more. When you're happy, just leave it where it is. I'll leave it all the way up for effect on this one. Text color, well, obviously that's a color of text. I'm happy for it to be white, both on regular and hover state. Background type though, let's have it change color when they hover over it. So I'm going to hit the classic right here and grab the color. Let's just make it a blue. Works for me. Now we can have a completely different color when they hover over it by clicking on the hover tab here. Again, selecting the color. Let's make it a sort of pinky purple. When we hover over it, it's going to change that color there. Great. We click back on there. I'm not using a border for this today. They've got plenty of little animations you can add too. They've got grow, shrink, pulse. I think I used pulse last time, or pulse grow. We'll select one. If you hover over it, it's going to pulse and grow like that. And there's plenty of them. If you scroll down, I'm not going to go through them all. Select whichever works for you. I'm going to leave mine on pulse. I think that's what I used before. That's okay. We got no border, so I'm not going to play with the border here. Border radius, if you want to make this rounded like our little button over here, you can give it a big border radius. If you put 50 in there, it does all at once. It'll make it a nice pill-shaped button like that. If you just want slightly rounded corners, put a lower value in, perhaps 8 pixels or something like that. And it's got little rounded corners there. I'm going to leave mine at pill shape there. Now padding. This is how we make the button wider or taller. For instance, if I put, say, 20 pixels in, it's giving it 20 pixels top, bottom, left and right there. Now if I take the chain off and we add some more to the left and right, or right and left even here, let's make it a crazy amount. Let's maybe put that up to 60 pixels. You can see it's added 60 to the right hand side there. And we can do the same for the left. Obviously adjust to taste. And it'll make your button wider like that. That's great. So we're pretty much finished with the styling. If we go over to the advanced, we've got margin and padding. Padding is going to pop it down within the element that it's in. You see the pink line there? If I add padding, add 30 pixels all round, it's giving it 30 pixels all round that little item there inside. Always think of padding as if you're sending this item by mail to somebody and the outside of this pink line is the box. Padding's the bubble wrap that you put inside to keep that safe, and it keeps it in the middle there. Whereas margin, if you adjust the margin, is going to work on the outside of this element. To demonstrate the margin, let's throw a background color in there. And we go at the layout. Here's our margin up here. If I put 50 pixels all around now, you can see it puts it on the outside of the element there. Whereas the padding, we were working with the inside. I'm happy with that to be as it was. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. We'll get rid of our background there. And we'll check this on the front end, make sure it's going to work. Hit the little clear. Fantastic. We'll go down to the bottom now. Save draft or publish if you're ready. And let's take a look on the other end. There's our little button. When we hover over it, it's going to change color, have that pulsing effect. When we take our mouse off, it's going to disappear. And of course, when you click on it, it's going to take them to whatever link you've put in there. Really easy to use, and buttons are essential to have on your website for getting user interaction and interest in your site. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. Don't forget, if you have any questions, pop them below the video. I'll do my best to answer them for you, or make a little demo video like this one. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.